Hi, my name is Kedar, and you're watching rptv. Regent Park, one of Toronto's most culturally diverse and resilient neighborhoods, was alive with celebrations this weekend as the Toronto Birth Centre marked a decade of service. For 10 years, the Toronto Birth Centre has been an integral part of this community, offering culturally safer and accessible birth care for families of all backgrounds. With a free barbecue, a lively corn roast, and music that brought people together. The anniversary event was a true reflection of the community spirit that defines Regent Park. Local vendors and artisans showcased their talents, while the Ask a Midwife's tent invited visitors to learn about midwifery and holistic birth practices. The powerful performances by Indigenous drummers and dancers underscored the Toronto Birth Centre's dedication to cultural integrity and inclusivity. Integrating Indigenous knowledge into birthing care and celebrating the strength that comes from diverse traditions. For the Toronto Birth Centre, this milestone isn't just about the past 10 years and over 3,000 births. It's about building a future where equitable and culturally grounded birthing care is accessible to all. Today's celebration honored the resilience, diversity, and solidarity that make Regent Park and the Toronto Birth Centre so special. As the Toronto Birth Centre looks ahead, it reaffirms its commitment to empowering communities, creating spaces that uplift every voice, and making sure that every family, regardless of background, receives the care they deserve. Now let's go to the video.
Welcome to the 10th birthday of the TBC, the Toronto Birth Centre. 10 years, that's a lot of babies.
Please everyone welcome Blandine. Is that all I'm getting? Please give it up for Blandine! Okay, thank you so much. I was told recently I should say Chimigwech for all of you for being here this afternoon and celebrating 10 years of community birth. 10 years, more than 10 years ago, you can imagine, actually it's been decades that people have been actually advocating to have alternative for birthing. As you know, in any culture you're coming from, birth is the only thing that no one is telling you how to do. Each culture, everywhere, has always found a way to find different ways of birthing and celebrating birth. You will have a chance to learn later today, actually in few more minutes, from the people who literally took on them to carry this dream to this beautiful building that today I have a chance to be working with amazing co-workers to be able to organize today this community event, because birthing is a community thing, it's a family business. That's why I'm so grateful for you for coming today with your children, with your family. Even if they are fur baby or anything else, thank you so much for coming with your family today. You can give it up for yourself. Well, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Blandine Tona from the Bassa tribe from Central Africa in a country named Cameroon. I have been lucky to be in this land for over 15 years, I think 16 years, and I received a beautiful gift in this land. 2 amazing girls who I'm certain are really, really hoping that I'm not gonna name them or even, but you know me, I'm too proud. So Yasmin and Julia are somewhere there. And I had a chance actually to amazing birth experience. For one of them, I was birthing with my glasses on. The other one, I was wondering how my mom actually ended up having 6 kids. Like I was literally asking, like, why? Who can have 6 kids? But the other one, I was just like all happy. You know why? Everything is different based on who is your care provider. Everything change, everything get a different meaning when you have the person who carry you from the beginning to the end, and even after you have the baby, that's what the birth center is about. That's what midwifery care is about. If you haven't had a chance yet to go to the midwifery tent and asking about the midwifery care and seeing if that is something that you would like to consider for yourself, relatives, friends, please do so. And if you have a chance to advocate for more services for the birth center so that the community have more services for them, designed for them, please do so. If you feel really strongly that, again, indigenous people have been birthing before settlers came to this land and they have something to show and give the community, please come at the birth center and ask. And ensure that, again, you have so many amazing indigenous people here today. If you want to give it up to amazing indigenous birth workers and midwives. Thank you so much for all that you do. And it is my pleasure actually to invite one of the board member, Monica, for greetings on behalf of the board and the opening ceremony. Thank you, Monica.
When the consultations were happening in the community and the vision was brought forward of having a birth center here in Toronto. And I was saying I was giving thanks for the women who had the journey, who held it and brought it into being so that we could be here in this day celebrating 10 years. So I'd like to begin with our traditional opening. It's one that is we do in community at the beginning at our events. It happens in our family gatherings, and it is a way to mark in a good way the beginning of the day. So I lift my hands in thanksgiving to WGFF. I give thanks for the gift of this day and all of the opportunities embedded within it. I am thankful for the gifts of air and water and all parts of creation that have carried out their responsibility so that we have life. And on this particular day, I give thanks for all the life givers, the folks who carry life and ensure that we have little ones to continue to be in our communities. Let us turn our minds to those that do without food, without shelter, those who are struggling, those who are ill, those who are persecuted, those that have begun to make their spirit journey, and those that have crossed over into the spirit world. As I finish up, I give thanks for all folk that have joined here today, for the gifts and abilities they bring into their lives, into their families' lives, and into the community. Thank you.
I think, and I've seen actually few babies that were born at the birth center and elsewhere, like mine. Maybe not here from Toronto, but again, because of I have experienced that, I want you to know that it's something that changed life. So please consider that. Before I'm gonna be caught soon, I told you to not give me a mic. I wanted to have a chance to let you know that the reason why we decided to come to the community to reintroduce ourselves, we know that how COVID was messy, we missed the connection. We had an amazing grant a few months ago from the SDP of Regent Park. They say they want us to find a pathway to make sure that, again, people here have services and we connect to them. And I would like to invite one of the person who has been an active advocate for the Regent Park so that they can come and explain more what it is about and where we can also find other opportunities for us. But before I invite Walid, I just wanted to let you know that yes, we got the money to get the project done, but this birthday celebration is about the community. We got the gift, even individual gift, organizational gift, community gift. Regent Park has answered yes and present to make sure that this happened today. And for that, I am very, very grateful. Thank you for Regent Park. If you can give it up for Regent Park resident. And because I still have to stick to the schedule, they might call me again if they have no one else to talk. I have to invite here Walid Kogali Ali. He's the resident and co-chair of the Regent Park Social Development Plan. And within the Regent Park Neighborhood Association, he's a community champion and a friend of the Birth Center. Like all of you, friend of the Birth Center here today, please give it up as I welcome Walid Kogali Ali. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you to our friends at the Birth Center. Regent Park, how's everyone feeling today? Isn't it a festive event? You know, in my culture and in many cultures, when it rains, it's a sign that we are blessed. We are blessed. So I hope you embrace the wonderful rain that we heard earlier. It's bringing a lot of new life. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful Saturday to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of the Birth Center. So I want to thank our amazing, amazing staff at the Birth Center under the leadership of our amazing executive director. I want to thank our amazing Regent Park community that showed up in numbers. I see the lineup. A lot of folks are hungry, which is a good sign. And I want to quickly reflect on the Regent Park Social Development Plan, because it's important for us to understand why we are coming together to demand investments in our community, investment in our social services, investment in our youth, investments in our seniors, and investment in amazing, amazing services like the Birth Center in our community. So today, we gather to commemorate a significant milestone in our journey together, the 10th anniversary of the Toronto Birth Center, a place that has not only welcomed new lives in our world, but also become a symbol of community care, equity, and cultural respect. Since opening its doors on January 21st, 2014, the Toronto Birth Center has been a beacon of culturally centered care, with over, take this in, my friends, 3,000 babies born here. 3,000 born babies. Each birth representing a story, a family, and a community strengthened by shared experience. The mission is simple but profound: to offer a safe, supportive, and inclusive space where pregnancy, birth, and postpartum care are delivered with dignity and respect for cultural traditions, particularly those of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and diverse newcomer communities. I'm privileged to support the Birth Center, which is located in Regent Park, a neighborhood known for its resilience, diversity, and the transformative power of community engagement. Over the past decade, the Birth Center has sought to integrate the services more deeply into the fabric of this vibrant community. The Birth Center recognizes there's always room for growth, and that is why they partnered with the Regent Park Social Development Plan. Are you aware that we receive $500,000 a year to invest in the priorities of the Social Development Plan? How many folks knew that? How many people knew that? That investment was won by residents just like you. And it is this partnership that has made it possible for the Birth Center to be able to support the Regent Park community as well as residents of other parts of the city of Toronto. So I want you to think about the following question. What do the people of Regent Park know about the Toronto Birth Center? How can we better serve the reproductive, how can we make sure that we serve the reproductive health needs of our neighbors? What services and programs do they need to feel more supported? This is important feedback that we want you to share with our friends at the Birth Center. I know there's going to be surveys, there's going to be conversations that are going to take place, but your voice actually matters in improving the quality of service at our Birth Center. While many appreciate the care and advocacy midwives provided, we also heard from the birth center that they called for better outreach, more cultural representation, and a deeper connection to the community. This event symbolizes that important connection with our community. We know that Regent Park residents expressed a desire for the birth center to be more consistent in the engagement. And this event is symbol that there's that commitment. I want to share a comment that a resident made that I actually read in one of the reports and I actually felt was very powerful. One resident shared, "I felt supported when I had a midwife who advocated for me during my pregnancy. I did not feel ashamed about my body. I had an amazing experience, and I would recommend a midwife to every person." So if you did not know about the midwives that are offered through the birth center, please reach out to our friends at the birth center to find out more. These words remind us of why we do what we do, why the birth center exists. It inspires to amplify community voices, to honor the diverse traditions and lived experiences of all who come through the birth center's doors, and to provide care that is not only accessible, but also empowering. The Toronto Birth Center remains steadfast in its commitment to the principles of self-determination, equity, dignity, and justice. And today, on the 10th year anniversary, as we look back on a decade of service, we also look forward to the future with a renewed dedication to these values. So my friends, as we celebrate the 10-year milestone, we do so with gratitude for the families who have entrusted the birth center with care, for the community partners who have supported the mission of the birth center, and for the residents of Regent Park who have shared their hopes, concerns, and dreams. Together, we will continue to build a future where every family, every child, and every community can thrive in an environment of care, respect, and cultural safety. So before I conclude my remarks, I want to give you a quick orientation. The Regent Park Social Development Plan has 4 working groups: community building, the safety network, the communications working group, and the employment and economic development working group. And I see some of the co-chairs of the amazing working groups right here. I see Elena, I see Ibrahim, I see, who else did I miss? I see a lot of folks who are here in support of this amazing initiative. And I want you to consider joining one of our 4 working groups. Help us advocate for solutions that we know work. And most importantly, I want you to get involved in our campaign to resource the Regent Park Social Development Plan for the next couple of years, beginning in 2025. It was because of your advocacy that we were able to secure $2.5 million. $2.5 million, right? And this money has been spent in initiatives like this, initiatives that bring our neighbors together. So I want to thank our amazing staff, the leadership of the Birth Center, and each one of you for coming out today. And thank you for being part of this journey. And here's to the next decade of service, learning, and growth at the Toronto Birth Center. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, and Elena is going to make a quick announcement.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? How was the food? Are you enjoying? Okay, the tour of the Toronto Birth Center is start at 3 o'clock sharp. I am over here. Those that like to join us, please come and meet me over here. All right, thank you very much. Meet you soon. 5 to 3, we will start. Just walk around across the road, and we will join them for the tour. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy as much as you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. As I don't know if Elena mentioned that she's a top volunteer today or the head of all volunteers today. So just thank you so much for being here and helping. As you can see, this event wouldn't be what it is without volunteers. And TBC wouldn't be without 7th generation midwives. Actually, I do have 2 gift cards here. One is gifted by the SGMT. If anyone except people from SGMT can tell me when was created the SGMT and why SGMT is important to TBC, and you have a chance to win a $25 gift card. That's question number 1. Number 2, I think you've heard Walid. Walid mentioned SDP multiple times. If you can tell me what SDP stands for, except people from the SDP, I know you, don't come. There's another $25 gift card. If you have actually done your homework earlier with the passport and went through the different stations, you should know what SGMT means, right? Why am I not getting anyone here willing to win $25? I have one person for the SDP. She knows what SDP means. Woohoo!
Amira.
So we have Amira here who has an answer for what SDP stands for.
Social Department Development Plan.
Excellent. Say that again.
Regent Park Social Development Plan.
Perfect. Amira, you won yourself a gift card of 25. I can't believe people are giving away the SGMT gift card. Should I keep it and let you go do your homework and go back and see what SGMT stands for? Okay, I'm gonna keep this one, and I'm not telling you yet what SGMT stands for. I will come back. Please be courageous like Amira. Come and share with us.
7th generation midwife Toronto.
So give it up for Felix, and for the $25 gift card. As I mentioned earlier, the dream to get the Toronto Birth Center didn't start with me. Actually, I have only been here 8 months, okay? So, but we needed to have, we had midwives actually advocating to have a birth center. And 7th generation midwife is one of the practice group actually located at TBC on the 2nd floor, which was among the people, like the group that led to the advocacy. But I still want you to come later today and tell me the relationship between the SGMT and the Toronto Birth Center. If you don't know, that's the first step. Go back there and ask them the question, and I can exceptionally let you win another $25 gift card. I think it would be too easy if I tell you, right? Just go and ask them yourself and then come back, okay? Go to the first stand and ask them what SGMT stands for and what's the relationship with the TBC. Ooh, at least young people are interested. That's refreshing. Thank you so much, and I will give it now to Denise.
Yeah, go follow Blandine. I'm sure you have all the amazing information about the Toronto Birth Center and about SGMT. 7th generation midwives of Toronto. T, right. Forgot the T part. Okay, so I would like to, thank you, Blandine. Let's give a big round of applause for Blandine. I would like to call up to speak Kristen Wong Tam, who is the MPP for Toronto Center. I was like, it's something Toronto Center. And also for folks who, anybody who has signed up for the tour, please, where is Elena? Right. Come meet Elena for the tour. No, this is Kristen Wong-Tam. Kristen Wong-Tam is the MPP, the Minister of Provincial Parliament for Toronto Centre, but has done lots of work. Was a city councillor for a lot of years in Toronto, Toronto Centre. I don't know. They change the things all the time. I live in Toronto, beaches. I don't know. Okay, so please, everyone welcome Kristen Wong-Tam.
Thank you very much for that incredibly warm welcome. It is such a pleasure to be here for the 10th anniversary of the Toronto Birth Centre. What a remarkable organization in our community, delivering essential healthcare services for moms, parents, and of course, the babies. Oftentimes we don't think about midwifery, and we need to think about them. They have been thank you. And thank you for being there for my own family. I see Bracia. Why don't I start with that? I am a proud mom. I have a beautiful 5-year-old son, and I am so proud that our family used the services of midwives when we were giving birth. It was a transformative experience, and I can tell you that it really changed the environment in the birthing room, and I know that it is hard work. I have seen midwives change the direction of women's and non-binary healthcare in Ontario. I knew this from an intellectual exercise, but then I saw it in action. And for all the moms out there, those who have given birth, you know that it is not a 2-hour experience. You know that it is oftentimes a 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 24-hour experience, and sometimes into the second day, and God bless you if you have to go into the third day. But we know that when it comes to who is there with you, is Ontario's health team practitioners. And at the center of that wonderful, beautiful experience are midwives. And they should be given the respect that they deserve in Ontario. They should be recognized as the professional healthcare providers that they are. They should be properly paid to understand the value of this deep, life-transforming, life-affirming work. And we need to do more, each and every single one of us, in our capacity as a member of provincial parliament. Whether you are an advocate for healthcare, we need to talk about maternal health. And we need to talk about maternal health before the delivery and also post-delivery. And I know that the midwives are there at the beginning and after. Now, 10 years is a remarkable time for any organization in Toronto, especially one that is innovating and activating on the margins. And I know that the Toronto Birth Centre has had a profound impact on families right here in Regent Park, in Moss Park, in St. Jamestown, and throughout the downtown east and central Toronto core. Thank you for all that you do. If you haven't thanked and recognized the work of a midwife today, I'm gonna urge you to do so, because not only have they put together a fantastic celebration for us, we need to thank them. And thank them I am going to do right now. I'd like to invite Glendine Tona, the Executive Director of Toronto Birth Centre, to join me up here on this imaginary, beautiful green stage. I'd also like to invite the staff and the board of directors, everyone at the Toronto Birth Centre, who has been so instrumental in making sure that women and parents have a wonderful experience at the delivery room and beyond. Are you folks here? Or are you too busy at this point? All right, I'm going to encourage you to come up, because you know you don't get thanked enough. And if I could be standing here, I would like to do the same thing for you the next time at Queen's Park in the House of Provincial Government, where funding for healthcare needs to come from, and in adequate ways that meet the needs of our community, our very diverse and beautiful community. You deserve this respect and so much more. So please come up to all the members of the Toronto Birth Center. This is your moment, and I want everyone to give these folks a remarkable applause. I want you to be super loud. Thank you very much to the staff and board, volunteers at the Toronto Birth Center, and happy 10th year anniversary. Woo!
Let's give a big round of applause to Krista Wong Tam and all of the volunteers and leadership and supporters and employees and staff and everyone, midwives that are connected, participate with, are, you know, a part of the Toronto Birth Center. Because of all of these amazing folks, this is why we have such a great third option birthing facility in the heart of Toronto. And again, when we talk about the Toronto Birth Center was well, you know, there was advocating for the for birth centers across Ontario. SGMT, so Seventh Generation Midwives of Toronto, SGMT were the folks who wrote the proposal, the fancy proposal to have a birth center located in Toronto. And it's midwife-led, it runs on an Indigenous framework, and it's for everyone. So anyone who is pregnant who is in care with a midwife, who has a low-risk, uncomplicated birth, pregnancy, can birth at the birth center. And also, even if you don't have insurance, you can get care, like health insurance, you can get care like OHIP. You can get care with midwives and birth at the birth center. So remember that, folks in Regent Park and folks from other parts of the city who maybe know folks who don't have OHIP, who are pregnant, who need prenatal care, to contact midwifery, contact a midwife. There are many midwife practices throughout Toronto. I think that there is 15 now, maybe more. It's been a while since I've known these stats. There's many midwife practices within, like, all over Toronto, far in the East End, far in the West End. Two midwifery practices, three in far sort of north of Toronto, North Toronto. I never go north of Bloor, so anything north of Bloor is North Toronto to me these days. Which is what happens, really. Like, once you move south, where everything's here. We have some more presentations. So we have a special presentation for you. We have a jingle dress dancer. Her name is Brianna Olson. She is a jingle dress dancer from Wicomico, and two spirit wearing singers are going to sing. So everyone, welcome to the stage, Brianna Olson and the Spirit Wing Singers.
Hey. Hello, how's everyone doing? Amazing, all right. Nishin. So Ani, my name is Brianna Olson Pitawanakwit. I'm from Wicomico Unceded First Nation, and I'll be sharing a jingle dress dance here with you today. The jingle dress is a healing dance that comes from specifically the Nishnabek Nation. There is no dance like this anywhere in the world, and historically the dress would have been made of shells or deer toes. So there's a very distinct sound that deer toes make when they move together, and it's part of our tradition and our culture where we use every part of the animal when we hunt and when we fish, so that would fit with that tradition. The jingle dress is a healing dance, and like I said, it comes from the Nishnabek people. We are the people of the Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes are what we are so blessed to be beside here every single day in Toronto, Gitchagame, Lake Ontario. So this dance, when you listen to the jingles, you might hear rain, you might hear water, and it's a way for us to offer prayers for anything in our life that we might need healing for. I'm really lucky today because my friends are going to be sharing a song for me while I dance. And then following this, we're going to have some other incredible dancers who are going to be sharing a men's traditional as well as a women's fancy shawl. So with that, I will get started, and chimigwech to Kathy and Michelle for singing.
Let's give a big thanks to Spirit Winged Singers, to Kathy and Michelle, and Brianna Olsen Pinawanequit for sharing that beautiful song and that beautiful dance. The jingle dress is what we call a medicine dance or a healing dance, and Brianna had talked about using the evolution of what we used as jingles or to make that sound, and it's a healing dance, and so especially for a place like the birth center. And so, not that there's a healing that happens, but it's about that putting that intention or that spirit into birthing, because birthing is ceremony, right? So, making a human is ceremony, and birthing a human is ceremony. And so, even when you go into the birth center, immediately when you walk into the birth center, there is cedar there. And cedar is one of the 4 medicines for many nations, including the Anishinaabe Nation. And so there's cedar on the walls. And if you haven't had a chance to go see the birth center, I think the second tour had already gone. So I would encourage you to watch the videos online. There are in-person tours, I think, happening still. There's virtual tours. You can see, there's lots of opportunities to see the birth center if you've never seen them before. And now I'm gonna stop talking because I want you to see, I want to call up 2 the stage some more dancers. So Joseph Harper is a men's traditional dancer, and Carly Brackapin, yes, is a fancy shell dancer. And so I'm gonna get off the stage because I want to see them all dance as well, and we'll have a little bit of. Anyways, goodbye. Miigwech! Everyone, let's give our dancers a warm round of applause. Miigwech! I needed a break, so that's why I was standing on the side. So now we're going to have the best part of the day where everyone gets to dance. So this is called an intertribal. An intertribal is part of the powwow where everyone, irregardless of background, nation, culture, all get to participate. You don't have to have a regalia. You don't have to be a skilled dancer. You can just come out, you can walk, you can dance, whatever feels good. Some powwows call it all nations dance. Some people call it intertribals. And again, it's just a part where everyone gets to come out and dance together. Who wants to dance? Why don't we just get started and everyone can just come join us if you feel compelled. So I will just reflect a little bit on the two dances that we just saw. So that was the men's traditional dance. Much of that dance you'll see is representing the hunters, the journey, the storytelling that comes into that practice within our nations. And the other dance is the women's fancy shawl, which is a freedom dance. It's a liberation dance. It's very fast, it's very flowing, and in many ways they mimic what we would call memegwa in our culture is a butterfly. So with that, we've all caught our breath. We're not so tired anymore. We are going to get started with the intertribal. We're gonna do one recorded intertribal, and then to close, we're gonna invite Kathy and Michelle to come back up and share one more song with us. So again, this is open to anyone. Feel free to come out and dance with us. Nahau, miigwech. Everyone, have a wonderful day.
Hi everybody. Blondine asked me to say a few words. I didn't have anything prepared. Oh, there's Jasmine. You should be saying some words. I'm thrilled and delighted to be here celebrating 10 years of the Toronto Birth Centre. And I have many different intersections of gratitude and love for the Birth Centre. First, personally, I had the incredible honor of being the midwife who attended the very first birth at the Toronto Birth Centre in 2014. With 2 senior students. We were in Cedar. It was a beautiful water birth. And right after that, we happened to have a stakeholder meeting with the Ministry of Health. And I swear I walked into that meeting floating 3 feet off the ground, just being able to tell them what an incredible investment they'd made in midwifery, but most importantly in just this magical place of the birth center that centers cultural safety and Indigenous sovereignty, but also midwife sovereignty. And I think that's what really felt so different for me, being able to provide care in a space that's designed for midwives and midwifery clients and everything that those clients bring with them, their families, their culture, and all of their needs. So Blondine asked me to say something on behalf of the Association of Ontario Midwives. I now work there as the Director of Government, Labour and Public Relations, and the AOM is the organization that advocates on behalf of midwives and midwifery, and launched the campaign that ended up leading to funding for the birth center. And of course, I acknowledge that was just the very, very beginning, and that all of you here really are responsible for making the birth center what it is. And it really is a magical place. So on behalf of the AOM, congratulations on this incredible, incredible birthday. 3,000 babies, like just picture 3,000 babies. That's just incredible. And it's been such an honor to be a part of this really historical, precedent-setting model of what care can look like. So thank you so much for hosting this beautiful event and for continuing the incredible work that you all do. Thanks.
So thank you so much to Elizabeth. I would like to call Shirley Bourgeois and Sarah Wolf, who are, I've known them for a very long time. They're these 2 amazing, incredible, badass Indigenous midwives who, you know, birth babies, bring new generations, the next generations in. They might have also been some of the leaders in creating what we now call the Toronto Birth Centre. No big deal. Please welcome Shirley Bourgeois and Sarah Wolf.
I was asked actually to suggest another activity for you to let us know exactly how many babies we had so far at the birth center. So you will listen to these 2 folks walk you through the journey, and then after that you have to come and let me know exactly how many babies we had so far after, and if you only listen, okay? Thank you.
Oh my God, it's so amazing to see so many people here, to see all these tents set up, the midwives, the families, the babies, people who, like, I am asking, how's your baby doing? And they're like, she's this high. They're 9.5 now. And again, that's so incredible that we've gotten through a whole decade of the Toronto Birth Centre. And I'm just so honored to be here and to speak with you today and to celebrate with you all today. So I learned a word recently. So I was up north in Sioux Lookout and doing some ceremony with family. And I learned a new word, sakagawesa, the Anishinaabe word. Some say that it's a word that means the horizon or the rising sun. But my cousin told me that it has some other meanings too, which really resonated for me when I was thinking about what I wanted to say here today. It means to nourish the spirit so that it can grow, and so it can be well, and so it can flourish. Sakagawesa, so that your spirit can flourish and be nurtured. And that's the core of the work of the Toronto Birth Centre, right? Is to make sure that we're creating that beautiful space for that next generation, for those spirits coming into the world, to be nourished, to be able to grow and to flourish like I see you all here today. And the Toronto Birth Centre has always been a space. When we first started this journey more than 10 years ago, I can say it was probably about 15 years ago, we talked about having a space for healing, for our families to be able to have their ceremonies, be able to practice their culture and their traditional practices for pregnancy, birthing, and that new parenting journey. We wanted a space that would feel safe, not just for Indigenous families, but for all families. For it to be a space where people could get really, really high quality, beautiful midwifery care for themselves and for their new babies during that most important journey that we have, coming into the world. And we wanted it to be a space where everyone felt like they could belong there. And I think what I'm seeing here today is that we were successful in creating that. And I know there's a long way to go. There's always more work that we can do in creating community, but the Toronto Birth Centre really has done that. It's created this really beautiful community. In Regent Park, which is a beautiful community in and of itself, but to create this community of all of these families. And I'm really so honored to have been here to share this with you today, to share this celebration with you today. And I'll leave you, before I hand it over to my very, very good friend, my longtime friend, Shirley, just to say, we started a midwifery practice called 7th Generation Midwives Toronto. And it was based on that teaching of the 7th generation, right? What we see before us today is because of decisions that were made 7 generations before us by all of our ancestors. But it speaks to our responsibilities today, to the 7th generation of those faces yet to come. And we all have a responsibility to make decisions that are going to make sure that our world is safe, that we have a planet that can sustain us, and that is healthy, and that is clean, and that we make decisions that allows everyone to feel included, to feel safe, and to be able to thrive. And so, with National Truth and Reconciliation Day coming up next Monday, I encourage everyone to take some time on that day to reflect on the role of Indigenous communities and the land, Indigenous land that we're all on and that we all get to benefit from. I ask you to learn about some of the history of Indigenous peoples, of First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people from Turtle Island. And I ask you to commit to something, to commit to action, to make sure that our communities can be strong and so that we can make sure that there's a great space for our children's children to grow up. Because we're all raising children together, and regardless of whether we're the life giver or we're the auntie or the uncle or the cool hangout person, we're all raising children together. And so I really hope to see this flourish for decades again to come. So I'll hand it over to Shirley, but congratulations, Toronto Birth Centre, on 10 years.
Okay, I turned it off. Hi everyone, my name is Shirley Bourgeois. I feel like I need to move. Okay, better. I'm a Red River Métis midwife, and I've been practicing in Toronto since 2007. Myself, alongside Sarah Wolf, we led the proposal and the design of the Toronto Birth Centre. And I served as president of the board for about 6 or 7 years. I couldn't quite remember. So Blondine asked me if I would give just a brief history of the birth center. And I have to tell you that it's a bit of a big task because honestly, it was very hard to know where to start. Because like Sarah said, we're celebrating 10 years of the birth center existing in the way it has now, but it actually started far before us. And so there's a lot of heartwarming stories that happened during the development of this birth center, so that's somewhere that I could start and tell about how on the day before our first inspection that would determine whether or not we could open, multiple midwives just showed up at the birth center throughout the entire day and even late into the night, like 10:30 at night. A midwife came in and said, "I just got my kids to bed, what can I do?" And we spent the whole day and that night washing floors, organizing appliance instruction books, stocking shelves, all of those things. We didn't put a call out. Midwives just came because they were just as excited as we were. Or how the project manager who helped us with the project was shocked over and over again when we'd be on a call or in a meeting with a vendor and the owner or manager of the company would come into the room or come on the phone and say, I had midwives for my birth. We are going to do whatever we can to get you what you need. So it wasn't just us building the birth center, it was all the work of the midwives out in the community who helped us. Or even how an Indigenous midwifery client, when she came in to give us feedback on our design, she said, I want a space that feels like the land is being reflected back to me. And I also want to be sure that when a Muslim family is birthing, that they have space and feel comfortable to do their daily prayers. So those were some of the things just around this space. But I could also talk about all the Indigenous research projects that led up to the call for proposals, speaking with Indigenous community members, elders, agencies, about what their visions were for birth in Toronto. We could go back further and talk about the hours or days of meetings through the early 2000s when midwives in Toronto sat through, they facilitated, they argued about what was required for out-of-hospital birth and how you didn't need epidurals in a birth center. Or I could even go further back to the 1990s when Indigenous community members organized a birth search, talking to community members about their experiences that were happening with birthing in the hospital and what they envisioned that birth could look like in the city. But I could go back even further and talk about how clients, midwives, social scientists were advocating to government since 1979 to have a birth center in the city. And they were actually successful in getting that approved. And then before it could even start to be built, it was canceled in 1995. So we had to wait another 19 years for a birth center to actually open. And during that time, that same group started a not-for-profit in 1983 called the Toronto Birth Center and held on to it through ups and downs, keeping it active just to be able to gift it to us in 2013 so that we would have a not-for-profit when we opened this center. And it was the same group of people who started advocating in 1979. And I think about all those midwives who worked before legislation, answering the call from their communities to attend births out of hospital, working together across difference and challenge to support the dignity and autonomy of their clients. Or maybe it's just important to say that it's only been 85 years since the majority of babies were born in a hospital in Ontario. Not even 100 years ago, the majority of babies were born at home. And it's important to remember the battles that were fought in hospitals, the moral and religious instruction forced on single and unwed mothers, how the exclusion of partners and families from the labor rooms left countless people to labor alone, and the mistreatment faced by fierce aunties advocating for the most basic health care at the bedside. But in truth, it's all of these things that created the Toronto Birth Center. And it never would have been built without all of these people and all of these years of work and commitment for decades before we even had this building. So underlying and accompanying and moving forward all of this, at the heart of it has always been the clients. It's always been the people who were asking for this kind of care. And behind them were the social movements like feminism, Indigenous sovereignty, and the midwives who, despite really powerful opposition, continued to support people to birth where they wanted to. So it's too simple of a thing to say that the Toronto Birth Center is just a safe and loving place to give birth, or that such a place is a luxury. What clients and communities have always asked for is a place that they can welcome their baby, the next generation in the long line of ancestors that survived in order to bring this family to this moment. And I use the word survive on purpose. And I want you to think right now about your own family history. I want you to think of all of it. I want you to think all the way back and everything that they had to endure in order for you to be here now. Displacement, poverty, famine, racism, political oppression, land theft, removal to unfamiliar or new places, cultural extermination, slavery, and genocide. For some, these experiences are far back in your family line or took place on lands that are across the ocean. But for some of us, these things we experience now and on these lands. And yet, all of us are here now on traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat nations, living, working, and building our lives in order to be able to welcome future ancestors so our family, community, and cultures will continue. I hope that over the last 10 years and over the 3,676 births that have taken place at the Toronto Birth Centre, that we've been able to play a role in making that happen. And so as we look back, I want us also to look forward, because that's what the Toronto Birth Centre is and is meant to be. While we celebrate the last decade, let's remember that the TBC is not the successful end to years of work or the measure of perfect care. But it's one ancestor in a long line of ancestors that came before, and hopefully future ancestors of other places that will remind clients, families, communities, social movement, governments, midwives, and Indigenous nations that every birth is an affirmation and commitment to creating a future for our communities and our nations. Thanks, everybody.
So thank you so much, Sarah and Shirley, for those really important words. And if you were listening, there was a very important number that you should know. I've already forgot it, but there's a very important number you should know. And so now, because we're at a birthday party, what do we do at a birthday party? Not only do we give away or get presents, or give away presents, but we have cake. So we're gonna bring the cake over, and Snooki and the band are gonna play Happy Birthday, but this is a group effort because it's a birthday party to many more birth centers.
Happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Toronto Birth Centre. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Toronto Birth Centre. What a way to end an amazing birthday party. An amazing 10-year birthday party in Regent Park. With lots of laughter and music and celebration, which is exactly what the birth center is celebration and joy and brilliance and all of those other wonderful things.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and if you need more information, go to our website.